right, Serious and Silliness Outcasts. I got two podcast outcasts. I got Chat with Staxx, Bill Staxx, and Wade from Crime and Entertainment. What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
You guys, good, man. You guys are the second episode for Serious and Silliness Outcasts because it's officially an outcast show. Just all the recluse and the fucking the ones that nobody wants, the redheaded stepchilds.
Right in.
The degenerates.
The degenerates. That's it.
Yeah. Podcast Degeneration X.
So you were saying that this guy before we got on, we were talking about a guy who actually got bit by a black mamba. Now, go ahead. What were you saying, Staxx?
So he's immune to snake venom. He lets these snakes bite him: black mambas, cobras, taipans, rattlesnakes. He has controlled bites, so he injects himself with venom.
Yeah,
like over the course of like 4 months, and then he will take the snake out of the cage, let it bite him on the arm.
Jesus.
Either it's in his vein or it's in the muscle, and he survives it. And I'm like, what? So after it bites you, I'm like, what's the feeling? Do you have like a reaction? He said sometimes it's like a slight reaction, like you can feel it type, Jesus. But it's mainly the bite. So a bee sting has about, he said 4.4 grams of poison, compared to a snake is like 90 or hundreds compared to
Jesus.
The point whatever. So it's like crazy amount times the venom of what a bee sting is.
Yeah, a mamba or a taipan, I think, is like one of the most poisonous of all. But I know black mamba is like a tough ass snake.
But now, now he lets the
rate is not very high.
Yeah, from what I understand. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about snakes, but actually, you know what? I should get him on for this. There's a guy. His name is Dave Palumbo. He's a retired bodybuilder, but now he has RX muscle, and he's a snake nut. He's got two YouTube channels, one on snakes and one on bodybuilding. And if we were going to talk about this, if you really want to talk about snakes, I'll hook him up with you, Staxx, because he'll fucking love. He moved to Florida. He's got a whole garage full of reptiles and snakes, and he sells them and all this shit. So
Tim Fried is the guy we're talking about. Shout out to Tim Fried.
And what
he's on Discovery Channel, Nat Geo. He's been on all of them. Ripley's Believe It or Not. All of them, man.
And this is all about just basically trying to save people's lives with his blood for the anti-venom.
Yeah, so he uses his blood. They use his blood because he's immune to the snake bite. They do something with it, and they multiply it.
Yeah.
And then they use like the plasma in his blood as the anti-venom.
Wow. I wouldn't know the first thing about that shit. All I know is if I get bit by a snake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things, like I'm fascinated by snakes. I love them to the sense of like to look at them, and I think they're very cool looking. They're very, very, I think, like beautiful animals, but I'm not fucking with them all.
Yeah.
Not me either, bro.
Let them stay and do their own thing.
Yeah. I don't know. To each his own, I guess. So, Staxx, you had on a really good guest actually recently. You had on a guy who went undercover for the Hells Angels, right? He was for the ATF. He went undercover in the Hells Angels. I don't remember the guy's name, but I contacted you.
Dobbins.
And
Jay Dobbins.
And
he's a great guy, man.
How long was he undercover for? A couple of years, right?
Do you remember Wade? I believe.
Yeah.
3.
I want to say it was a couple of. Maybe a year or so, year and change.
I thought it was like 18 months or 19
really?
months or something.
I mean, it took a while to actually get involved with the Hells Angels. They were like with a subgroup, and then that group kind of got brought around. So I'd say probably like actually involved with the Angels, maybe about a year. Total time with everything, it might have been a little over that. Because, you know, obviously you can't just walk right in and just start dealing with Hells Angels.
It doesn't work that way.
You got to work your way up, but yeah, he's a great guest.
You gotta have a pair of balls to do that, man, because they're.
You gotta have balls that let a snake bite you too. They're gonna kill you, man.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Sometimes I have relatives and friends. I go, where do you find these people? And I'm like, I don't know. They're around. I don't know. I have no idea where I find. These people.
I seen Jay on it was, I don't know if it was a Gangland or what. It was one of them shows that used to come on like the History Channel.
Yeah.
And they were just documenting his whole, experience going undercover. And I think it was, what was it? Operation Black Biscuit, I think was the name of his operation. And I remember just reaching out to him. I mean, it takes work. These guests don't just fall into your lap. So I researched and I found out his email and sent him an email. And at the time, he's coaching football out there in Arizona. So it was football season. So we couldn't match up right then. So I got with him around the end of December. And then we done a show. And I mean, it was really good. It was a long one too. It was like 2.5 hours. I mean, he was actually drafted, or not drafted, but tried out in the NFL. He tried out for Al Davis.
Really?
Yeah, he was a hell of a college player. I think it was Arizona State. I think he went.
The videos are crazy of him, wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
The wide receiver, tight end, or something. He was. I mean, even in his shots when he's undercover with the Hells Angels, I mean, he's fucking jacked. Like, he was a big dude,
and he's fast, man. So like he's quick.
So he's an athlete. He's an athlete. He's a natural athlete.
Yeah.
Wade, why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast YouTube channel, and then Staxx, you can go ahead and tell us about yours. So, again, Wade, you go first.
Yeah, man, it's called Crime and Entertainment, and it's really just that. I mean, we interview people that have been involved in crime. We interview mafia guys, former drug smugglers, drug kingpins. We've had on Tim McBride, who's a notorious marijuana smuggler, done it for years. A guy by the name of Brian O'Day that smuggled like 75 tons of pot in 2 trips on a fishing boat. Mob guys, obviously, we've had Anthony Arlotta, Anthony Ramundi, Anthony Ruggiano, Larry Mazza, a ton of guys in there, a ton of experts in that field too, like Scott Bernstein, Chris Cipollini, and then actors. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people off Sopranos, John Fiore, who played Gigi, Robert Fanara, who played Eugene. Finally got a first Sons of Anarchy guest. I had Kristen Renton,
Really?
Porn star. I'm a tight was her name in the show. But yeah, she was really cool, man. Like one of the most laid back chicks. I mean, just really cool, lives in Louisiana. So that was cool to get my first Sons of Anarchy guest on there. Hopefully I can get some more.
That's cool.
But I mean, yeah, we just talked to a little bit of everybody, man. So it mixes the two perfect. Because originally I was thinking of doing like a true crime podcast, but then I realized like a million other people had that idea over the pandemic. So I just tweaked it a little bit, put that entertainment word on there. And with that, it kind of opened up the door to any and everything and anything that I find interesting, I can throw them on there, and it's been fun.
All right, cool. What about you, Staxx? What's yours all about?
So I started this around almost 2 years ago, but it really didn't start picking up steam until last year. And I got monetized around March. I started interviewing, reaching out to like organized crime people and things like that. But I've interviewed quite a few people, Larry Mazza, all the regulars that go on the circuit, except a handful, a few that I just don't, I just don't. Yeah. So, it is what it is. But so recently, branching off, I'm getting away from the mob bullshit. I don't want to be around none of it anymore. I am going for a stratosphere type of environment. I'm going for the guests that people are like, how? I want people to scratch their heads.
Like the snake guy.
Yeah, man. Like how? Like how is that even possible?
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been putting in the work. I've been really focused lately, and I think with the people who are throwing shade and all the negativity, I think it's building the drive that I need to succeed in what I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
Like I've interviewed Lyle Menendez, the Menendez brothers, Katrina Michio from The Sopranos. She's the original Bada Bing girl. Rocco from the Mayans. Mayans MC. Shout out to Brian Hoyle. He's got Hungry Hill coming out soon. Filmed in Springfield, the organized crime type of film. But I'm leaning more into the sports fighting realm of things. I interviewed Jason Reinhardt, and he's ex UFC fighter. And I mean, they got incredible stories, and you're gonna see a lot more of that. I have Hector Camacho Jr. coming on my
Really?
show
That's
on
pretty-
Wednesday.
That's
On
great.
Wednesday. So I'm announcing it right here, man. Hector Camacho Jr.
That is
Wednesday
awesome.
on Chattin with Staxx.
I am not going to miss that one. That's a good one. My old man used to love Macho Man Senior.
His dad was that's why I was telling Staxx earlier. I was like, his dad was a damn legend. I mean,
Oh man,
he was like that first guy that I remember that kind of stole what the WWE did.
Yeah,
Put it in
yeah.
boxing, like just the over the top outlandish shit,
Flashiness, right?
Yeah.
Making it a show, kind of.
Yeah.
He was one of
Yeah.
the first. He was one of the first to do that. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And his father was killed by gun violence, and we're going to
That's
talk
right.
about that on the
Yeah.
show. He's really into guns down, gloves up. He doesn't want gun violence. He you know, people can settle their differences in a ring instead of being involved with gun violence. It doesn't have to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Staxx, you did a couple of shows where you were like, kind of like, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. But you had a couple like I don't know what you want to call it, beefs or problems with people on YouTube, online, like this social media thing going back and forth. That's something that I never really had. Nobody ever shit on me. And if I ever did, actually, the only real insult I ever got, that I look like Vin Diesel, but I sound like Joe Pesci. That was the only real insult I ever
Compliment, man.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that, or you don't? You'd rather not?
No, I mean, I really don't care. I mean, I honestly think when I first got into the podcast game, there were people who were kind of like preying on my naiveness, and they were trying to attach themselves to me. They were thinking, I can manipulate this kid to do what I want, and I'm gonna, you know, like it was weird, man. The dude went on Vlad TV and spoke about me and says, "Oh, Bill Staxx, yeah, he's with me now. He was a gang member, turned his whole life around. He was doing nothing with his life until he met me."
Oh,
He said that on Vlad, bro.
yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
And then on top of that, we got Mr. Gene Barillo goes over there on Cinemills. He starts talking about me too. So I guess I rent space in these guys' head. I don't know, but I'm charging $5,000 a month, and I want my money.
What was it about Gene? Because I actually had Jeff Nadeau on, who has a great show, The Sit Down.
Mm-hmm.
And we had him on, and I just aired it this morning. Really, really good. And he had Gene on, and he said basically Gene was, you know, a pretty violent guy. He's just kind of troubled, and he has to kind of get his act together because he did, you know, have a rough upbringing and was sort of a wild child. But he didn't have anything bad to say about him. He basically said that from his interview, he was a perfect gentleman. But what was the thing going back and forth with you and him?
Well, I mean, he opened his mouth about me. So
oh, really?
It's only right. He's on Cinemills running his mouth about me. I'm going to come back at him. and I'm not going to stay quiet, man. I'm not. Listen, man, my number one motto is don't be a bitch. I don't care. Like, regardless, man, don't be a bitch, man. Win, lose, or draw. I'm not scared of anybody on here. They could be a killer. I mean, I've gone at it with killers, people who have put people in the ground, and I don't care. I'm not scared of them because they're not killers anymore, man. Dead all that dumb shit, you know?
Yeah.
But with him, I really don't have anything personal against these people. I don't. Like, I mean, he goes through his public things, and I'm a journalist now. So if there's public information getting released, I'm gonna report on it.
Right.
And they get mad at that. But the way I see it is they're in the public spotlight. They want to be known. They wanted their faces to be out there. So they chose to put themselves in this position. So when I do a show and I talk about you, don't get angry, man. It's in the newspaper. Everything I say is out there in public.
Right. It's public. It's public. You're right. 100% right. It's already out there before we get it. You know, by the time we get to it, it's probably old news to some people. Absolutely.
Diluted down. You don't even know what to believe, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. But I actually had a good guest on, thanks to Wade. I actually had Tom Sizemore on, which was a great interview. And he hooked me up with Tom. And that was tremendous because I was a big fan of, you like how I segued away from the mafia too.
Yo, Wade has been a tremendous help to me since
Dude.
since we linked together and
Yeah.
started associating with each other. Like, I'm not the type of person to be like, nah, I want people to succeed like me. If we work together, we can get a lot further than if we
100%.
butt heads. Like, I don't have time for any of that type of stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be positive and move forward, and I don't even consume content. I just make content constantly.
And that's why
you know,
yeah, that's why I put together these collaborations, because like I think we talked about this once before, Staxx, that Google's not y'all running out of money.
Yeah.
So if we all help each other, it all works out for the best of us. So it's really no big deal. It's just why the collaborations are so important, which is why I had Jeff on, it's why I had you guys on, and vice versa.
And I don't gotta like everybody you like or everybody you like, and you don't gotta like everybody I like, but you gotta respect it.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. There's no question about it. Absolutely,
especially in this genre, there's so many people that don't like other people for certain reasons, but that's got nothing to do with our relationship. There's some people that I deal with that Staxx may not be fond of, but that's mine and their business, and me and Staxx is our business. So it doesn't have to intertwine. It doesn't have to affect that. And I don't mind if I'm able to share guests with other content creators, because not everybody's going to ask the same, or I would hope they wouldn't ask the same exact shit. People are going to put their own spin on it, depending on what they're like. Staxx does a lot with, focusing on people that had addiction problems. So he's going to bring out more of that. John, you deal a lot with bodybuilding and stuff like that. So everybody's going to have their own spin on shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And me, like, if I have a guest on, I try to listen to people that have interviewed him in the past and make an attempt to bring something different that they haven't been asked before. Because I know it's got to be redundant to the guest too, to
absolutely
the same fucking story over and over and over again. Some things you can't help. Like, if there's obviously key elements of why they wound up in the life, or big things that happen when they got caught, you have to cover some stuff. But, like, for instance, and I'll drop this because I've told a few people, but I'm airing it next week. I had Michael Thompson on, who was the guy that spent like 45 years in prison.
Oh, really?
He was a shot caller of the Aryan Brotherhood. Like,
yeah, I saw he was on Vlad, and he was on Michael Francesi. That's a big guest, dude.
Yeah. And
Staxx, did you hear that interview?
Yeah, man.
That was fucking crazy.
I've been following Michael Thompson since he hit the scene, man.
Yeah, I was seeing him probably 15 years ago on the Gangland episode on Aryan Brotherhood. So when I seen he was out and making the rounds, I've done, like I said, my research and found out how to contact him, and we set it up, and we done it this past weekend. I mean,
that's fantastic, bro.
It was an excellent interview, dude. Like, it was so good. I mean, we didn't stay on one thing too long. It flowed. We went 2 hours. And I focused in on a lot of stuff that other people didn't ask. Like, he mentioned, obviously John Gotti needing protection. That's been widely, talked about. But I kind of focused in a little bit more on, did y'all facilitate that? Because there was a rumor that, he got roughed up in prison. There's that photo floating around of him bleeding.
Right.
And he basically admitted, he's like, he thought that he didn't need us. And we facilitated an event to transpire where it made him realize, you do need us, because in the prison is not the same in the streets. You don't need us in the streets. You got plenty of people, but in these walls, you need our help.
Yeah. Did you hear that story about how they got him into the courtroom to testify?
Yeah, and a fucking hollowed out vending machine.
That blew me away. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that part. No.
You didn't hear that part?
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, tell him, Wade. Go ahead.
It was like later. This was after he had left the Brotherhood, and it basically had to do with a murder involving a Hell's Angel. Well, the time wasn't even that serious. The guy was going to have to do like 4 years, and I say that, but those guys are used to doing 4 years. Like, the regular dude ain't gonna want to do that. But
you're going to SEG for 4 years. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The deal was, the girl that testified against him was a meth addict. And so she's obviously, they got her in hiding, but she's looking to score. And obviously y'all know who controls the meth in that area is the Hells Angels. So when she reached out to her connect to get, some drugs, they related to some people who sent some people. And those individuals showed up. They shot her boyfriend in the head twice. The girl had 2 twin daughters. They took them in the room, made the daughters hug the teddy bears, executed both of the daughters in front of the mother, then shot the mother.
Mamma mia.
And that was who he was testifying against. And I think I'm pretty sure he told me in that interview that they had tried to go in. I want to say he said they found a bomb up under one of the cars that they were using to transport him. Like they knew that they were trying to kill him. And they wound up eventually having to take in a hollowed out like vending machine, like a Pepsi machine that just was hollow inside, and had to hide him in that to get him in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the whole courtroom was full of Hell's Angels.
And him and them kids dying is the catalyst from him testifying, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was just like, that's not what this is about. That's not why it started. It was very interesting because it didn't start out like as a race thing. It was more or less of, obviously, if you've ever been to prison, you do have to link up. Survival is key. But it started out different than what it became. It started out as a way for guys to feel safe, and then it just evolved, obviously, into money making with drugs and everything else, and it progressively gotten more violent. And then when it got to the point to where they were killing like innocent people that didn't have anything to do with it, that's when he stepped away, because he's very religious. Might be I guess it is a religion, but like he's very in tune with
spiritual.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm probably either going to drop that this Sunday or next Sunday, but it's definitely within the next 2 weeks. But it might be the best interview like I've ever done with anyone.
I'm definitely watching that one.
That one's going viral, bro.
That's viral. That one. I watched both interviews, the one he did and the one with Michael Franchise, and both of them were phenomenal. The one with Vlad and the one with Michael Franchise. But Staxx, why don't you give us a little bit of your background, because you had a little bit of a rough background too.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was involved with gangs, and I was I went to prison when I was a real young kid, like 14 years old, for stolen cars, in and out of prison. And it wasn't until I stopped drinking until I stopped going to prison, man. And that was about 11 years ago.
Wow.
Last time
you've been sober for 11 years?
No. I've been sober 4 years.
Oh, okay. Where did you grow up?
Bristol, Connecticut.
Oh, okay. All right.
Aaron Hernandez, ESPN.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of football, Wade, why don't you go into a little bit? You have, I don't know, you do it with Anthony Ruggiano or you do it with Anthony Arliata?
Well, we started it with Ruggiano,
right.
But it was kind of a situation where obviously if you follow him, he does his reform gangsters. So he helps people with addiction. And even though it's not looked at as probably the addiction most people think, when people think addiction, drugs, alcohol, pills, stuff like that,
right?
Gambling is an addiction for some. And so it was kind of like counterproductive for him to do a show on gambling, but then turn around and do a show on addiction. So I understood why he didn't want to continue with that. And, it made sense. And I wasn't upset about it. I just like to talk football. Right. And so when it got time for the playoffs to start with college and then pros, I knew Anthony and our talks that he was a big gambler. I mean, he said he'd blow like $500,000 in a weekend just betting on games, just betting dumb shit.
Jesus.
And so I reached out to him. I was like, hey, how about just me and you? We'll test the waters. We'll do through the playoffs. We'll do college football, playoff picks, and then NFL playoff picks, and then we can call it a season. But if you like it and it's fun, then we can, pick it up, go through NBA, NHL, whatever, and pick it up next football season. So we're testing the waters and see how it did. We had a good first week. We won pretty much everything. We split to college. We took over, but we also took TCU. And if anybody watched that game last night, that game was over with in about the first 5 minutes. So not a very entertaining football game, but so 1-1, but yesterday. But altogether, I mean, if you were following our picks, you made some money. So it's fun, and we'll see how the rest of the NFL plays out.
You know what my favorite interviews are, Wade, that you do? Are the porno chicks. Fucking love them, because I had a couple of them. I had a few of them on, and I had one guy, and then I had a bunch of OnlyFans chicks. But I had three mainstream for porn. And I have this thing where I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to do that, I need a girl with big tits, because I mean, you're looking at them like this, right? So I'm if they got big cans, then they're going to bring fucking views. So, all the girls I picked was like Sarah J, Alexis Golden. And the other one was What the hell is her name?
I've been talking to that one, the
Yeah.
one you haven't named yet. Nina something?
No, what the fuck is her name? Shit. But she's got more of a big booty.
No, well, who's the one with a huge
I like those.
Yeah, hold on, let me see. What the hell is her name? There was what the fuck is her name? I can't remember. I can't remember her name for the life of me. And she's actually, she was actually pretty cool. Like, it was fun interviewing her. She was definitely the most fun. Oh, what the fuck is her name, man? Jesus, I can't remember her name. White girl, huge butt. She had, what the fuck is her name? This is gonna drive me crazy now that I can't remember her name. Oh, Ms. something. Hold on. Ms. Danny. That's it, Miss Danny.
Okay.
Yeah. She's had 3 Brazilian butt lifts.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And she said that she had so many Brazilian butt lifts that they actually took too much fat from her waist and her sides, and you could actually see like the bumps in her stomach lining. So now she's got to like put some fat back.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, I swear to God.
That's
a
little extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking nuts. Like, she was a good interview. And then Sarah J was
Jackson was the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, well, she's more of a OnlyFans fetish.
Okay.
Her cans, she's got giant cans.
Yeah,
she's like a G cup or something like that. It's like ridiculous.
Right.
It's like insane. But anyway, yeah, and she's actually a pretty cool. She was actually a pretty cool interview too. Like
that's why I reached out to her, because I like the one that you guys did. I checked it out on your channel. Did you see the one I dropped with Ivan? He was the porn director.
No, I didn't see that one.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago. Go back. His name's Ivan. He just got inducted this past weekend, as a matter of fact, into the AVN Hall of Fame, which is basically like the porn Oscars or whatever, and he just got inducted. And that's kind of how I hit, like, I done a bunch of porn chicks back to back to back, because I'd interviewed
sounds crazy, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Just talking like that, this sounds crazy, man.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't have a wife, dude. I'd be getting my ass beat right now.
My wife stands over me and looks, she's like, and I'm like, I talk about you in every show. So,
my wife doesn't give 2 shits. She don't give a shit. She's just like, she goes, you can't fuck them through Zoom. I was like, that's a good point. Very good point.
Yes. Very good point.
But two of them I wasn't demonetized, but the last one, Miss Danny, I was demonetized.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like the Sarah J actually talked about. I asked her what the most embarrassing thing was that happened to her on set. And she said this girl was eating her out and she had a period on her face.
Oh,
like it was an accident.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the girl was covered with blood. That one didn't get demonetized, but the Miss Danny one, that I don't know. I like there's no rhyme or reason for the demonetization. I don't get it, but
no, I've had videos to where I don't split many videos, even if they're long. I put them up. But matter of fact, I think it was the J Dobbins I split, but also put it up in full. Well, they demonetized one of the half of the split, but then left the full up. And I'm just like, what the fuck kind of shit? That doesn't make no sense at all.
Yeah. And then you could like review it, but God forbid there's like a YouTube person you can call to help you out. It's impossible. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't get nobody on the damn phone.
They demonetize Ramundi every time he's on my show.
Really?
Yeah, every time.
Really?
Bro.
Now, his ain't been demonetized on mine. He's like my damn. He might be my highest rated video, I think. Right
He is my
Really?
highest rated video.
Yeah. He's got like 14,000 or something like that. Last time I checked, I get a comment on his every week.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ramundi. I hope he's doing good, man.
My highest is Larry Mazza when he spoke about Bill Catolage, Wild Bill.
Yeah.
And I wanted him on to talk about Wild Bill because I remember Wild Bill when I used to, because I lived in that neighborhood. I remember him, and he had a reputation of like he would kill you in a heartbeat kind of deal. That's why they called him Wild Bill. He was like literally just kill him. And so we had, because that was the warring faction between him and Scarpa and then Wild Bill, and he told some great stories that they knew that Wild Bill's girlfriend lived in the neighborhood next to Bensonhurst Park, and they were going to. Borough Park is all Hasidic Jews, and they were going to dress up as Hasidic Jews and just wait for him to come out of his girlfriend's house, or they were trying to think of all these ways to get at him. And then another one was to get two guys that pose as FBI agents to pretend like they were going to arrest them and then just have him in the car. But they were trying, because he was the muscle. He was the guy that they were trying to go after. But yeah, that one does really. That one's got like 30,000 views or something like that. You know?
Shout out to Scarpa Jr., man.
Oh yeah, is he? What is he up to? Because I don't know. I tried getting him on, and then he wasn't. He was going through some legal problems, and then I don't know.
He's going through some medical issues. He has
is
cancer.
he really?
Yeah, he has cancer, man. Shout out to Scarpa Jr. He's going through cancer. They let him out on a compassionate release because he had terminal cancer. He's just living out his days with his family, man.
Oh man. Yeah, he did a long time in prison. A long time. That's that. It's unfortunate because that era is over. It's over, and the people that still believe in it they just wind up in prison, turning state's evidence, or I don't even know how they make a living when they come out of prison because there's nothing left. You know what I mean? Like
they could join YouTube.
Yeah.
Do shows and stuff like that. I mean, and I think the key is you have to always stay evolving. And Francis is like the best.
He is 100%. He is the smartest one out of the bunch. I mean, him and Larry. Larry doesn't really do much social media unless he gets interviewed.
Right.
But Michael just I don't really think Sammy could do what Michael does, and that's have an interview show. I don't think Sammy the Bull could do that.
No. Yeah. He needs to be the one getting talked to or telling the story. Right. I think Michael picked up that, his story has been so well documented and biographies. And then obviously he's went on Vlad and Patrick Bet-David and some of the other big ones. So then he flipped it to okay, well, this is what I know. So I'm going to play a Bronx tale and then tell you if this was legitimate, would this happen? Same with Sopranos, and he'll go through all these movies. And that's what me and Michael Thompson was talking about on his show, because he had never seen any of the movies that people kind of correlate with prison. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Shot Caller.
Yes. It's a great movie, man.
Great.
One of the best.
And I told him, I'm like, well, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but the dude bears a striking resemblance to you.
Yeah.
Just in visualization. And I was like, he went in on something that could happen to any one of us sitting here, have one too many cocktails at dinner, run a red light, kill somebody, bam, vehicular manslaughter, then you're in the pen. And that's what he's going to start doing now, because he's just starting his own podcast as well. So he's going to start looking at movies for the first time, prison movies, and be like, okay, this is,
that's not a bad idea.
Or, no, this would never happen like that. And I told him, I was like, dude, that would be fucking great. Like I would watch, to see him watch movies like American History X or Shot Call or Oz or whatever.
There's one about young kids. Do you know the name of it? There's a movie about young kids that go to prison when they're young.
Oh, you're talking about Robert De Niro, who plays the priest?
No, it's new. It's new. It just came out recently.
Oh, I don't know. I'm
not sure. A couple of years ago, maybe, but it is so on point.
Really?
The real thing. When I was locked up in MYI in Connecticut, man, it is the same exact way it is on that movie in there. Same.
That clip where they fighting like hell in the movie.
Yeah.
I seen a clip. Somebody posted it on YouTube, and I was like, what the hell is video? What is this movie? And they told me, and I wrote it down, but I couldn't remember the name of it.
It's brutal, man. And the kids are it's like Juvenile or something it's called, right? Delinquent or something like that.
I think that is it. I think
I think I passed that. But the one I was thinking of was Sleepers.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
And they have to fight in the prison. I mean, that it's so realistic. It's the same thing that happens to a young white kid when they go to prison.
Yeah,
watch that movie. It's insane.
I'll definitely. But Michael Franchese had on, which I thought was a ground who came up with the idea, but I thought it was fantastic. He had Jordan Peterson on. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Jordan Peterson is probably one of the greatest intellects in the world today. He's a clinical psychologist, but he has his own podcast, and he's actually standing up for he's from Canada, and in Canada apparently they passed this law where you have to call somebody by their pronouns. It's like law. If they say they identify as they, or you have to. It's like law, and he's speaking out against it. Right. He's basically trying to say, I don't have anything against people that are trans. It's just I have something when the government tells you how you have to speak and how you have to think. Yeah. And the guy is absolutely brilliant. Like you can't debate him. He's gone on debates and just filleted people. It was just unbelievable.
I heard something that really blew my mind yesterday.
Well, hold on. He so Michael Franchese had him on, and it was like a 1 hour or 2 hour show, and he had Jordan Peterson actually diagnose him and give him like a therapeutic session on his show.
I do know who Jordan Peterson is. Yeah.
And it was fucking great, man, because the guy's just brilliant. That was really good. What were you gonna say, Staxx? I'm sorry, man.
Fucking forgot, man. Damn, man.
Said you heard something.
You heard something?
When we were talking about that, it sparked up a memory of something. And
all right. And then he had Mike Tyson on.
Oh, matter of fact, the female male thing. So the new thing now, you know how they give custody to the woman and the man pays child support. Now the men are changing their gender to female. That now they're the mom.
Oh my God. So you're gonna get money from them.
Hey, listen, man. It shows you right there that the importance of the parents, to have both parents.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's the female or the male. They both belong in the kid's life, whether they have money or not, man.
100%. Absolutely. Wade, did you see, I was on Staxx's show. I don't know if you saw it, but we talked about the butt baby. Did you ever see what the butt baby is, Wade?
Oh yeah, the butt baby.
yeah. Dude,
oh my God.
Dude, it's apparently they came out with this little rubber toy that's like looks like a baby. Right. And then you could actually, and they make it for trans women, guys that want to be women. And what you do is you ram it up your rectum and then you shit it out. And it's supposed to like give you the sensation that you're giving birth. And
I got nothing.
I got nothing either. Bro.
And what's funny is it comes in different colors. So you could get a black one, a white one, a yellow one. Yeah, I swear to God, dude. And I showed him, and I was like, that would be great if it was like made by Mattel, and afterwards you could throw around the yard like a Nerf ball. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That's it. Yeah. I was like,
they stick that up their ass and shit out, and they had a baby, bro.
What if they want twins? They got to shove two of them up your ass.
There's twins right there.
Twins,
bro. You want triplets? Right there, bro.
Yo, I swear to God. And I'm like, how did he be? It's just unbelievable, bro. Unreal. Yeah, man, that's good. There was a guy who went to prison in Jersey who was a trans woman, but he was pre-surgery, right? Pre-op. And the prison didn't want him in there. And they were basically saying that, no, he's got to go. And they let him in, and he got 2 girls pregnant.
I heard that, man. He's 10 girls pregnant.
What'd you expect? I mean, they were like, we told you this was going to happen. I don't know why you're surprised. It's unbelievable, man. Unreal. I don't know. Go figure. It doesn't like where's like the outrage? Do you know what I mean? I hear about these kids in school. I don't have any kids, but I hear about these kids in school, and they're forced to learn like
about Satan and shit like that,
sexual orientation and the different pronouns. And I'm like, why are you teaching my kid the ABCs and leave him the fuck alone? Like, why you I don't know. Did you ever go through that, Wade, with your kids or no?
I mean, that shit really didn't start becoming a thing until the last couple of years. So my daughter was out of school. My son, I mean, I keep it real with my son, man. Like I grew up and, obviously we loved everybody. Like, I had tons. I probably have more black friends than I did white friends just because the areas that I grew up in.
Right. Stop lying, Wade.
But it was never an issue to where like we didn't have a lot of homosexuals around when I was coming up.
Yeah.
But it's so much more now. And I tell my son, look, be nice to everybody. Treat everybody with respect. But when it comes to this shit to where they're telling, like kind of what you said earlier about the guy, like, if they're telling you to talk to this person this way or say as a he or she, fuck that. You call them by their name. And if they don't respond to that, then don't fucking talk to them.
Are they doing it to fit in? Are they like, I'm gay too?
No, you know what? I think so.
You know what? I out of that.
It's attention.
Yeah. You know what I think it is, honestly? Do you remember when we were kids and they had that grunge phase? the vamp kids that had the black makeup and the black fingernails and they, you know, all that
trench coats and shit.
coat, right? And they were the outcasts and they just joined together. I really think that is what's happening. That the trans kids are basically that now because they're the outcasts that just want to be to their own. Because a lot of times I get out of work at 3:00 and I'll go straight to the gym, right? And then so what happens is you get a lot of the high school kids that go at the same time to get out of school. I still see like the kids playing from the football team and they come to work out. And then there's the girls that like the pretty girls from the high school that come to hang out with them and work out. I still see that. It's not like, you know, that's not around, you know,
but it's a little less than it was when we were kids.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because we were all hanging out in school gym, girls, guys.
Yeah,
we're all hanging. They don't do that. No, it's not like the way it was, man.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was, but I still see like even today, like I went to the gym right after work and there was 2 kids and they were in high school and they were on the football team and they were, I was shooting the shit with them, showing them how to, you know, work out a little bit and whatnot. And they were regular kids, regular boys. You know what I mean? So I honestly think that whole trans movement is like more, first of all, there's more guys that want to be women than women that want to be men. So that's your first clue that it's some type of fetish, right? Because it's more men that want, and men have fetishes. Women really don't have fetishes, right? And then the other thing because this is easily debunked as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what somebody does, right? I don't give a shit. But it's when you start trying to move into areas that just aren't for you. So we have a mediocre male athlete, and he decides he's going to be a woman and move into the woman's world and then dominate the woman's athletic department or whatever, you know, swim, like we saw it in swim and whatnot. Then it's like, come on, dude. Like, you're a guy.
Got a propeller, dude.
Yeah, you got a dick and balls. I mean, come on. Give me a break, you know?
The logic in that had me so shit. And I think I did I don't know, it was a TikTok or something on that where I just went off because it's like in the men, he's like whatever 200 and something. I don't know, 175th or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go over to women and then you dominate. Well, no shit. Your whole fucking DNA is there.
Yeah. And you never see an elite male athlete move over and become a woman. You never see a top college athlete. It's always like this average guy.
We have though. We have Caitlyn Jenner. Bro.
Yeah, but
we have it.
Yeah, but he transformed.
He was a top athlete.
No,
though.
he was, and he was the world's greatest athlete. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But you know, he would agree with us right now. He doesn't think men that transition to women should be in women's sports.
Did he cut it?
I don't know. I don't know. That would be some interview to get him on, right? And then the other thing is when women transition to men, they don't go into men's sports and dominate. They don't even make the cut. So I don't, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, like I interviewed a trans woman, and her name was Robin. She was very nice. You know, I'll be politically correct. She was very nice. But when she was an arm wrestler, and when she was a woman, when she was a man, she was an average amateur. She was an amateur at best. Becomes a woman, post-op, dedicated, chops everything off, bro. Nothing.
What did they do with it after they cut it off? Did they?
I think it goes inside.
like a grenade.
Flip it, makes you a canal. Go back any other way.
And he becomes a world champion woman, you know, and and he's.
I don't want to be a champion that bad.
No, I mean,
I don't either. I don't either, bro.
Me neither.
Keep my thing and just be a
I'm
loser.
I'm an average Joe, I guess. You know?
That's it, man.
The problem is that giving everybody a trophy shit. Okay, there's a first place. There's a second place. There's a winner and there's a loser. There's no in-betweens.
Right.
Okay. Right. They're teaching everybody wins and all this bullshit. Everyone doesn't win. Everyone's not a winner. There are losers out there.
Yeah.
There are people who don't do the right thing. There's people who are, you know, they're just losers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they weren't born to win.
I call that shit the participation trophy era. Like the participation era. People like, don't get me wrong. If you're a kid, I think at age 6, it needs to be cut off. If you're learning to do something 4 or 5, yeah, you get a trophy for doing it.
What?
Like at 6,
What needs to be cut off? Wait.
the trophies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
Just
let's
clarifying
be clear.
that.
Yeah, let's be clear. The trophies be cut off. After that, you have to start learning, okay, you can't expect to get a trophy if you don't come and bring your A game. And not just you, your teammates and everybody with you. And my son plays football, and I coach 7-on-7 football. So that's what these kids have to learn. You can't just rely on everybody else. That's the same what's going on in the world today. People don't want to fucking work. Like you can't rely on everybody else to do the job and you get the same credit as them. That's not how the world works. So sports needs to be that thing, and youth that lets them know, hey, you want to get a trophy, you want to be recognized as the best, and you got to put in the work.
That's right. I was the worst athlete when I was a kid. I was a terrible athlete. Like
not
awful.
as bad as me, bro.
Really? What were you pick when they pick teams?
I was on home plate, right?
Yeah.
I get hit with the ball. Bam. I go to first base. I'm leading. They throw the ball. I get hit again. I'm out. Those were my 2 hits in baseball, bro.
Hey, really? I was always next to last picked. When they had to choose up the team captain and I was always next to last. And
like, all right, we'll take them.
Well, it was always down to me, and there was this one Jewish kid. His name was Andrew, and he had braces, and he used to drool, and and I was a short, fat kid. So by that time they got to me and him, like the 2 team captains looked at each other. Like
by the time they got to you, you look like that.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
you gotta pull the one over on him. You got to bring up the idea, and you be a captain. Don't let them know that be the coach instead of the player.
Yeah, no, it was always it was unbelievable. I was a terrible. And then I discovered girls, and then I lost like 50 pounds because I was like the fat kid. So that was about it.
That'll get you into shape.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Staxx, you got any crazy prison stories you could tell us?
I got a ton of them.
Yeah.
Oh, where should I start? I mean, what kind of story you want to hear? I could tell you any kind. I got a good one. There was a lady named Miss Naroda, right? This was the last time I was in prison. So I got a job cleaning the floors, doing buffing the floors with this pad. So you put the pad on. I told her I know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that.
All right.
But I said I did. So because you get extra trays when you do these kind of jobs. So
okay.
I said, I know how to do that. So 3rd shift, right? I go out there. She gives me the controls of the thing. Now you're supposed to hold it lightly, and you just guide it, and you lift up and it goes to the left. You push down, it goes to the right. It's easy, man. You just hover it over the floor. Now, when I turned it on, I didn't know. So I'm pushing it down, and it's bam into the wall. It starts slamming. I got headphones on, right? And it's slamming into the wall. And there's a CO walking, and he's walking over my shoulder, and I'm slamming the thing into the wall, and he trips over the buffer, and he falls in the hallway. And he got so pissed off, man. He's throwing the fucking cord and shit. I swear to God, dude, they almost beat my ass and brung me to seg for that. And it was an honest
mistake.
You know, when you're just not watching and someone puts something in front of your leg and you fall backwards. That's what happened to him, bro. With his cop uniform on.
Oh, that's got to be embarrassing. That sucks. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something good, man. That was kind of a lame story.
That's all right. No, it was better than what I got. I've never been to jail, so it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was only in there for a couple of days with my situation, but I will tell you a funny story. So I got charged with something pretty serious, and luckily it got dropped. But at the time, through my lawyer, we facilitated me surrendering. So I go and I turn myself in, and I'm sitting on the bench. Now, mind you, I've never been in jail before. And this was, I don't want to get too much into detail, but it'll come out sooner or later. It was a major fucking charge. And so we're sitting there, and I could tell this dude was just drunk. He was like a biker, just half falling over. And he looked at me, and this is on a Sunday afternoon. He's like, bench of shame, huh? said, yeah, I guess you can say that. So we go into the holding and we're in there for a little bit, and then they call you out to go see the magistrate. Well, I already knew for what I was in there for. The magistrate couldn't do nothing for me, but it was a formality. You had to go and they have to tell you that. So they called me, that guy, and like one other kid, little young kid, and my last name's Williamson, so I'm always at the last of every fucking thing when they go alphabetical.
Right.
But they get to the kid first, and he's like, "Oh, you got simple possession, yada yada yada. You know, PR bond. Get the other guy DUI." And before then, this dude's like been chatting me up, sitting there the whole time. So they get to me and they say what my charge is, and this fucker scoots down like 10 feet down the
like this, right?
Yeah, he's all the way out. So we're like, ankle to wrist or feet or whatever. We go back to the room, and like he was sitting beside me, he grabs his shit and moves clear to the other side of the room, and like don't say anything the whole fucking next 24 hours while we're in there. But then towards the end, I felt bad for him because that was like he had asthma, and they took his inhaler, and dude was like coughing like a motherfucker, wheezing. Like I thought he was about to die. And he kept getting on the little intercoms like, I need my inhaler. If y'all talk to my doctor, yeah, we'll let you know. Yeah, we'll let you know. This was fucking Tuesday, and like finally he got out. I think he bonded out, but I was just like, damn, they really don't give a fuck. Like he could have, I was expecting him to die like any minute.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I swear. And like nobody ever said shit. It was like, oh, we're working on it. Oh, we'll see. Oh, we'll let you know. They did not give two fucks. And I swore I thought I was fixing to watch him die right there on the floor. Yeah. He looked like he could barely, like he was trying to suck air through a flattened straw.
Wow. That's fucking terrible.
Bro, I've interviewed people who were in prison, right, with their cell phones in the cell.
Oh, yeah.
This dude's telling me a story how the prisoner across the hall from him is dead in the cell.
Oh,
and
really?
4 days, they didn't come get his body. 4 days.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy how many people in prison have cell phones. So I got a buddy, and I knew he had spent a lot of time in jail.
And you can watch them on YouTube. There's like prison fights on YouTube. You're like,
dude got a better cell phone in prison than me.
Man. He said those things go for like $4,000 right now because he was hitting me on Messenger, and I was like, dude, where you been at, man? I ain't seen you in a while. He's like, shit, I'm in lockup, and I'm like, where at? And he told me, I'm like, so you're there right now? Like you got a phone? He's like, yeah, I got a phone. He's like, you get anything you want in here? I was like, how much you had to pay for that? He's like, $4,000. I was like,
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
Fuck that, man.
Start slinging phones in prison.
Last thing I heard, they were $800, bro.
Wow.
Inflation, brother. Everything.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll tell you a funny story. I never told this story on air. This is actually really funny. It's nothing to do with prison. It just came to me. It's fucking hilarious. So, some time back, like years ago, I went to go get a rub and tug, a sensual massage, right? So I do
not know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was living in New York at the time, right? And this is when, what was it? Was it Craigslist had all the stuff in the back? I think it was Craigslist, right? And then, yeah. So I was living in New York. This is before I met my wife. So I drive to Jersey City because the location was in Jersey City.
Sure, we clear that up.
Yeah, I got to clear that up. So I drive to Jersey City, and the girl, the pictures and everything, dynamite body, Spanish girl, right? I think she was Puerto Rican. Dynamite body, blah blah blah. So I go, and she lets me into the building, and go up to her apartment, and I walk in, and I said, listen, because I was living in Staten Island. I just drove from Staten Island to Jersey City. It really wasn't that far, but I had to pee. So I was like, listen, I gotta use your bathroom. And she goes, I don't let anybody use my bathroom in my apartment. So I was like, and she gives me a bottle, like a plastic, like water bottle, right? Like a, I don't know, one of the big ones, and a paper towel. And she goes, get pee in here and just put it on the side. I was like, all right. So I pee in the bottle, clean myself up, leave it there, right? Leave it on the side. And she goes, let me see. I was like, let you see what? She goes, drop your pants, let me see. I was like, all right. I pull my pants down. And she looks at me like a doctor. She goes, okay, all right. Let me get my condom. And she goes, there was a pull-out bed, right?
You're like feeling awkward at this
dude,
moment, right?
Completely, yeah, completely. She goes, you can lay on the bed, right? Now she gets her condom and she gets the lotion, and she puts on this hardcore gangster rap. And she's playing this hardcore gangster rap. And first she's like rubbing my back. She's rubbing my back. She's giving me a massage, and I hear her reciting the lyrics, like singing along to the song, right? But she's like, but really getting into it, right? Really getting into
gangster bitch.
yeah, like that, like really getting into really getting into it. And I'm like, but then she would like try to talk dirty to me in between verses, if you will, right? So she would be like, you like that, daddy? I'm gonna rip your heart out your face, and all this shit. So she goes, so she turns me over. She goes, okay, turn over. So she turns me over, and now she's in my face, like hardcore rapping lyrics in my face, and I'm like, "Fuck, she's doing? Holy shit!" Right? So finally, the deed is done. Finally, the whole thing is over. Right? I climax. We're good. She cleans me up. Now here's the best part. While this whole thing is going on, she has a parrot in the house that's flying around from room to room.
Does it got condiments?
So as she's like, giving me oral with the condom, this thing is flying over my head, flying into the next room, and I'm like, holy shit. She takes the thing. I'm all done. She cleans me. She takes the thing. She puts it on her shoulder like a pirate, and she walks me to the door. And she kisses me on the cheek. She goes, "Don't forget my number." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." Holy shit! I was like, if this is what rub and tugs are all about,
What about the bottle of piss?
She left it there. I don't know. I was like,
I got a good one, man.
All right, go ahead.
So this girl hits me up. She's like, "I want you to come over." I'm like, "All right." So this is one of my ex-girlfriend's friends, right? She hated me the whole time I was with my girlfriend. So I meet up with her. She's like, "We're gonna go to my grandma's house." I'm like, "All right." So we go to her grandma's house. Her grandma's sleeping. So I pull a condom out. She jumps on top and she's riding me in her grandma's house. I take the condom off, put it in the plant in the window.
What? In the planet?
In the plant, hanging in the window.
Oh my god,
bro! There was nowhere else to put it, bro. So I just put it in the plant.
Holy!
And I left.
Oh wow! Jesus Christ! Wow. Okay. All right.
But I mean, never mind.
Did she ever call you back and go, "What the fuck? What did you?" No, she never.
No, I never got that call, but I know they found.
All right. I got one that'll top that, right? Unless you got one, Wade, if you want to throw one out there.
I mean, you're beating me on these right here. I'm trying. Well, I did. There was this time in high school, right? This friend of mine was driving his dad's company car. It was like a Pontiac Grand Prix, but it was a brand new car at the time. So it was like Sunday afternoon. We got school the next day. We're all chilling. Well, there was this girl around school. I definitely won't mention her name because she's still around, but she was known for having like a great head game. And I knew at the time I'd, been privy to it. And, I called her up and she was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I'm just like, "Well, I don't have a ride. I got, a buddy that'll bring me." I was like, "But, he ain't gonna need gas money, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna need a little something else, so
facilitating the deal."
It took a little finessing, but she agreed to do a 2-for-1 type thing.
Jesus Christ.
So we're going over there, and the funny thing is, the other guy, he was like, "Well, maybe I can get mine too," because it was 3 of us. I'm like, "Well, fuck, I ain't gonna call it, but I done facilitated the 2 deal. You just show up. We'll see what happens." So we go, and I get in the back because the other buddy, obviously, I wasn't gonna drive. It was my friend's dad's car. The other dude, he was a big fucking guy. We called him the muscle. He was like offensive lineman in football. And so I get in the back behind the driver. Well, at the last minute, he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go over there and not get anything, and you 2 fuckers be the only one to get anything. I'm gonna just go back in there and chill." So he gets out, I get back in the passenger seat. So we're going, and it's raining like a motherfucker. Raining bad. And there's like a big curve. It's not sharp, but it's a pretty wide curve right before you get to her neighborhood. And we're going, chilling. I'm just, looking out the windows before cell phone, back. Damn car just starts sliding like this. All the way, hydroplaning like a motherfucker. I'm like, "Oh shit."
What?
We go completely off the fucking road. We hit I could tell when it hit the dirt. Whoa, whoa, bam. I mean, the biggest fucking impact you could look. I turn around and look. The biggest pine tree you ever want to see is sitting like in the back seat, like right where I was sitting originally. So if the dude would have went with us, one, I'd have been dead.
Yeah.
Like, it would have fucked me up.
Yeah, because you would have been sitting right there.
Yeah, I'd have been sitting right there. It'd have smacked me right in the head. So we get off of it, and somehow or another, the car is like able to drive, but the front tire is like laying like this. So the car will literally go up and then fall down. Go up and then fall down. And it only made it like a couple feet. Where there's a store that was right there where you turn in to go to her house. So we go to the store, and I get on the payphone and call the girl and told her what happened. So she comes up there and picks us up. I guess he couldn't reach his dad, so he wasted his money on the phone call. It's still a payphone. So we go back to her house, and he's calling his dad, and I can hear him in there like telling, his dad what's going on. I was like, he's going to be fucking in some deep shit because this was his dad's company car, But the whole time the girl's like, are you okay? Is there anything I do for you? I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I'm over here where a certain about damn near died. So, you might as well go on and help a brother out. And so he's like, all right, man, let's go back to the car. I'm like, I need like 10 minutes and we'll go. Are you fucking serious? You're not getting that done right now? I'm like, dude, I did not come all this way and go through that to leave empty.
Yeah, with nothing.
Full nutted, basically.
No, you meant you wanted to leave with an empty sack.
Yeah, at least, right. Oh,
so I finished and had her carry, but I was like, I don't feel like walking right now. You can just run me back up there. So, long story short, everybody made it out good, but the car.
Oh wow!
But him, he didn't get it. He didn't go back in there and get his due. And I've done all that facilitating for nothing. But I was just like, I survived death. I know where to get a little head. That's a good way to celebrate.
I got one good one, then I'll let you guys go. All right. I had moved. I was living with a girl, and we broke up. I left, and I got my own place, and I was living by myself, and it was me and my dog, right? And but anytime you ever watch porn, you keep the volume down. But now I was living by myself, so there's no reason to keep the volume down. I keep the volume up. So, I don't know if you guys do this, but when you watch porn, I go through like phases. So like sometimes I like this type of girl, sometimes I like that type of porn, this and that. So for about a month, I was watching a lot of black girls. Right? About a month, I was watching a lot of black girls. And I remember some of the websites. It was like 40-ounce bounce was one of them. The other one was Ghetto Gaggers. That was a good one. Ghetto Gaggers. The other one was like white dicks on black chicks or some shit like that. I don't remember.
What are you, a connoisseur?
Yeah. It gets better. Believe me, it gets better.
Got an X-rated mental Rolodex.
Tell. So I remember I used to hang out with this girl, this Russian girl. I was living in Staten Island. My mom was in Staten Island. She was in Brooklyn. She was in Sheepshead Bay. Yeah, Sheepshead Bay. So every once in a while we'd go and hang out. We'd go get drinks, or we'd go to get something to eat, and I'd go back to her apartment and we'd bang, right? So that night, I'm at her apartment and I have her bent over the couch, right? And when for some reason, I don't know why, but I talk mad shit when I'm fucking. I talk shit, right? So I'm banging. I'm like, yeah, you like that, bitch? Yeah, you like that? And of course, she's all into it and everything, and blah blah blah. And she's all, and then it just came out. I guess it was like in my head. I went, yeah, take that big black cock, bitch. And she.
What did she say, bro?
She went like this. She went like this. Like if she was bent over, she went like this. She gave me this like the fisheye from the side, and I was like, I just kept my head down, and I just kept fucking just going. We never talked about it after that.
Bro, I had this girl I was dating. She had a dog, right? She would always keep her pit bull with her, right? One time she's blowing me in her car. Her dog's watching her like this.
Oh, that's high.
The dog's watching her do it. I'm like, bro, do you really? The dog's head's watching. Fucking eyes are watching her head.
That's hilarious. Oh shit!
I got one real quick one, John.
Go ahead.
So me and the wife's into porn. So the room I'm sitting in right now, there's a couch and a TV. It's kind of like my little studio room.
Right.
So it was one night we were down here and we just happened to put on porn. And so me and the wife, had a little fun watching it. Well, this app that I got, if you don't back out of what you're watching, if you just hit the home button on the Fire Stick, it goes back to home. And if you open up that app, it's going to go right back to where it was. Unless you just manually back out of the porn to back out the section before that and back out. So this was like Thursday night. Fast forward, I don't think I ever opened back up that app again. And it was like my dad had come down. My wife's mom was down. It was like a bunch of people.
No.
And so when he comes down, he usually sleeps in this room because everybody, we got a big family. And so he's like, hey, put on the damn, I think it was around March Madness. He's like, I want to see the Duke game. He's a big Duke fan. So me, him, my son, we're all sitting here and we turn on the TV.
Oh, no.
He's like, what app do I need to click? And I'm like, the one that says, Prime or whatever. So he clicks it and bam, and it comes up and it's like a full blown fucking gangbang. I mean, like 4 girls.
Yo, that is horrible.
One girl. I mean, bam, bam, bam. And so my son's sitting there and he's like, I was like, you're supposed to cover your eyes. And he's like, damn, what
how old is he? How old's your son?
Well, at the time he was like 11, but he's 13 now.
Wow.
But I was just like, oh shit. And I wasn't in the room. I was telling him what to click. So when I heard it, I automatically knew what happened. I was like, oh shit. So I come running back in there and he's just like, trying to hand me the remote and fumbling out of his hand. My wife's mom's in the hallway. She's like, what is that in there? And I'm just trying to hit that motherfucker as fast as I could. But I was like, all right, I got to remember to back all the way out of that damn app because it come up and she was like, she's not wanting to, act like she had any part of it. She's like, what were you watching in there? And I'm just like, you know what the hell I was watching. Trying to blame it all on me like I'm the bad guy.
Well, it sounds like you got a cool wife because my wife is very traditional. I don't really get that. No, we're at the point in our relationship where if we have sex, she asks me if I took the garbage out yet.
Oh, you didn't? We're not. No, we're not. Till you get back. What the fuck? That's why I'm single, bro.
Yeah.
Ladies, holla at me.
It is what it is, man. All right, listen, Staxx, Wade, you guys are great, man. We gotta do this again. We should do like once in a while. We do this on Wade's channel, and another time we do it on Bill's channel or something like that. Like that would be pretty fun.
I'm down, bro.
Yeah, I'm down. It's fun just shooting. It takes the pressure off, trying to do research and ask questions. Really good like that is just come on here, just shoot the shit stories, and you don't have to write anything that's going off memory.
It's just like the boys shooting the shit,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. We should do that because this was pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down. Y'all just let me know, man. I had a good time.
What do you guys? We know what you got coming. You got Michael Thompson coming, Wade. But what do you got coming? Anything interesting, Staxx?
Hector Camacho Jr.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss that one.
Boom.
I'm not gonna miss that one.
Gianni Russo too. Not long after that.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
wow.
Dude, to get to interview somebody that was actually in The Godfather, which is arguably, considered the greatest film.
And Ramundi, we got more Ramundi coming. So buckle your seatbelts. We got some shit for you guys.
All right, cool. I got what do I got coming up? I got an author that wrote the book about the Purple Gang. And that's pretty cool. He's coming up. And then I got
who's that? That
Steve DJ or something like that. I have the book in the other room. I gotta fucking read it before I get him on. And then I got a biker guy. His name is Hollywood. I mean, great. He has
the chick
Insane Throttle.
By Hollywood Way. Hollywood. Right?
James Machikari.
Yeah.
And he has a great show, and he's coming on because he did a show that I watched, and I was like, because he's been on before, and I've been on his show before, and he's a great dude. And he did a show on how the feds actually infiltrate bike clubs. And there's actually video of this guy, this federal agent, talking about how they actually do it. And it's like it's pretty fucked up. Like they get it, they go through the women.
Mm-hmm.
They go through the women, and it's all like pillow talk, And
he breaks down how the motorcycle clubs get like damn, what the fuck? But why is my brain going blank? He breaks down how fuck, man.
He has like, and he has, I think he's got 3 different channels. One he does with his wife in the morning. It's like
the indictment with the Mongols and trying to take their patch. He breaks all that down.
Yeah. And then he has the insane biker throttle bike, and then he has a one that he just talks about motorcycles. He's talking about Harley Davidson, and the one he does with his wife is fucking great because they go back and forth, they rip each other apart, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's such a great show. But anyway, fellas, I'm gonna let you go.
Appreciate you, bro.
No, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you very much, and I'll let you know when this is out. And we'll definitely do it again. It's fun.
Hell yeah.
All right, fellas. Later.
Right.